pledge will be led by the gentlewoman from Texas, Miss Johnson.
I'm here this morning just to address education. How do we know? Because the people have told us so. We represent the ideal way to alleviate the shortages is by ensuring that children of all races and both genders receive the basic grounding in science and mathematics that will prepare them to pursue careers as scientists, engineers, and technologists. Is it not time then for America to grow morally? For those who fear to answer this question, I will answer it for them. The time is now.
Now more than ever, what happens in Washington impacts us here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Your Congresswoman, Eddie Bernice Johnson, will help you understand what goes on inside the federal government and share perspectives from today's leading policymakers and opinion leaders. And now, your Congresswoman, Eddie Bernice Johnson.
Hello and welcome to the Capitol Report. My guest today is Ted Daniels, the President and CEO of the Society for Financial Education and Professional Development. The mission of Mr. Daniels, a nonprofit organization, is to enhance the financial literacy of college students and people at the early and mid-level stages of their careers. He travels around the country giving seminars to students of historically black colleges and universities, and he reaches a lot of people. In the last 2 years, he talked to over 16,000 college students about credit, personal money management, investing, and home ownership. I wish I'd had that coming along. He has more than 30 years' experience in financial management and investments. And in addition to his work at this nonprofit, he also serves as a on the President's Advisory Council on Financial Literacy. And I'm delighted to have you come.
Yes, I'm glad to be here.
I understand that you are a fraternity brother to one of my staff, the Kappa Alpha Psi.
Yes, the great fraternity of Kappa Alpha Psi.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, they've opened a credit union in my area.
Oh, they have? Oh,
yes.
That's great. Yeah, that's right.
So tell me, when did you establish the nonprofit and why did you do it?
Well, I established a nonprofit back in 1998, and one of the reasons why I decided to establish a nonprofit to address financial literacy is that I saw a lot of people mismanaging resources, or they were being taken advantage of by companies offering products and services, and also just some good investment opportunities that were available, but people just didn't understand how they operate, even a money market account. Mm-hmm. So I saw that void, and I thought perhaps it'd be a good idea to start infusing financial knowledge to the general public, and in particular the African American community, because we knew we had a void there that we needed to fill. So I started set it up in 1998, and in the year 2001, I decided to target it toward students of historically black colleges and universities. And the reason why I did that is that most college students, when they go back into their households and their communities, they exercise some influence in the household as well as that community. So I said, well, if I can teach them how to manage credit, how to establish a budget, how to make investments, participate in a 401k plan, they can take that information back to the household and eventually cause a general uplift of the African American community. Mm-hmm. So that was my strategy. Yeah. So it's been simply working. We're in our 8th year now. Yes.
Well, you know, back about that time is when there was a lot of marketing of credit cards to college students. Mm-hmm. And I would say that the majority of college students use college loans in addition to what the families could afford to pay college tuition. So that meant that when they got out of college, they would have 2 huge debts.
Yes.
One to the credit card company and one for the student loan.
Exactly.
Did you find that?
Well, yes, we found a lot. You know, we found, as a matter of fact, what I try to put them in the framework of thinking ahead in terms of long term rather than short term. So I created what is called a credit formula, showing them if they accumulate a lot of credit card debt while they're in school, a lot of student loan debt while they're in school, they've committed a large portion of their income. You know, it's already spent before they walk across the stage with their degrees, you know. So I tell them to look forward, you know, and not just think about the short-term use of credit, you know. Keep the credit card balances low. In terms of student loans, look for scholarships, grants, and work-study and co-op opportunities to reduce the cost. Because they were just casually using credit cards, like they were free, you know. And once you walk on campus for freshman orientation, you go to the bookstore, there was an entity there that was going to offer you a T-shirt or a cup if you get a credit card, you know. And some people just casually drawing down student loans too, even using the excess, what is called a refund check. For shopping opportunities. That's
yes.
Get rid of that opportunity, get rid of that too, because every dollar you borrow has to be repaid. You know, so put it aside in a savings account, a money market fund, use it next semester, next year, and that just don't just casually borrow money, because you can be weighted down with a lot of debt and not be able to maximize the income generated from your degree once you finish school, because you have to pay so much out every month. You know.
Well, now, do you talk to groups of people or individuals?
We talk to groups primarily. Usually the universities, colleges and universities will bring a group of students together, classes together, or complications, or they have mandatory assemblies, you know. And now once we finish that, a lot of the questions will come up during the sessions with the students. But there are some questions that students will not ask in the open. So we have one-on-one sessions. So it's a combination. You know, usually there's a line of students in front of you once you finish. You know, my mama. My dad. What about this for today? You know, so so we do have some one-on-one situations. Yes.
Well, I have 2 grandsons in college, and they're not at historically black colleges and universities, but I would love to see them have access to this kind of information. I don't even know whether they're in debt or not. They haven't let me know.
Yes.
But I just don't want to take that chance. So, but how do you think this can help a young person? Because when they do get out and they have these debts, do they ever catch up?
Well, some do. It depends on the particular career, you know. And by the way, we are expanding our programs to major universities too. We've been to University of Maryland, been to Wake Forest, University of Southern California, Michigan, you know. So, and we plan to be at George Mason next year, you know. So, and University of Washington, St. Louis. So we expanded it.
Yes.
We just started there and started building out, you know. Yes, a lot of situations occur where they had, you know, they have the debt, and some just don't understand how to manage it, you know. So we try to make sure they have a pretty good understanding of just how credit works. See, it's not this easy money, you know, and that has to be repaid. So we try to make sure they have. Our approach is to provide a seminar, a workshop on things you must know, not good to know, and what the ramifications of not knowing it. You know, that's our approach, and they seem to like that, you know, because kids, they're involved in a lot of things now. They want to let me know what I need to do so I can move on, you know. So that's how they approach it. Yeah.
Well, I came along so long ago, but when I came along, they had little savings accounts in classes, and so there's a lot of emphasis on saving rather than spending. That doesn't happen anymore. You could put a dime, 15 cents a week in the bank. So I have a habit now of every newborn giving them a bank and tell them to save. Well, every child that I've given one to, except my grandkids, it has helped. but they seem to kind of take it more lightly. But I ask periodically, what are you saving? And sometimes there's some, sometimes there's not. But what do we consider good budgeting? What's coming in, what's going out, how you balance that? Do you help with having them put down on paper what they're spending, what's coming in, what's essential to pay, and what's optional?
Exactly, yeah. As a matter of fact, what we try to do is to encourage them to create a spending diary, you know, for over a 6-day period, to see those costs that are reoccurring, those expenses that are reoccurring expenses, and use as a basis for developing your budget. Those things that are very important that you must have. Make sure